Welcome to another bonus edition of Upon Further Review.
Upon further review,
And in this edition, we'll be talking about the Week 7 matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Diego Chargers. And you can catch this game on October 19th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And that will be on your local CBS affiliates as these two AFC West division rivals go at it. The Chiefs are 2-3 on the season and the Chargers are 5-1. Kansas City started off with a pair of losses as they lost at home to Tennessee and then they went to Denver. They nearly came back, but they lost that game by a touchdown to the Broncos. Then they went to Miami and they picked up their first win of the season. And then they hosted New England on Monday Night Football and they blew out the Patriots as they evened up their record to 2-2. But then in Week 5, they went to San Francisco and they lost to the 49ers by just 5 points. As Smith went back home, his former home, as he used to be a Niner. Of course, they had the bye week last week, and now they're going to San Diego to face the first place AFC West Chargers, as the Chargers have won 5 straight after losing by 1 point in Week 1 on Monday Night Football, the second game of that Monday night doubleheader. That was against the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. Quite a game. They lost by just 1 point. If it wasn't for that 1 point, the Chargers would be undefeated. And the next week, in Week 2, they beat the defending Super Bowl champions in San Diego. They beat the Seahawks. Then they went to Buffalo and they beat the Bills. Then they hosted the Jaguars and the Jets and they beat them. They shut out the Jets for the first shutout of 2014. And then last week they went to Oakland, and it was actually their closest game of the year. Well, other than that 1 point game that they lost, but their closest win is they won by just a field goal. They won by 3 points, and they beat the Raiders 31-28. Of course, I think that they were kind of looking forward to this game potentially. Maybe that's why that game was so close. Of course, Phillip Rivers, even though it was a close game, he threw for 313 yards against the Raiders, and Oliver rushed for over 100 yards for the second straight week. So he rushed for 101, and he also rushed for 114 against the Jets the week prior. And Rivers has been on fire. He's been having a huge year. He's got 1,756 passing yards, 15 touchdowns, and just 2 interceptions, as he's just making history, it seems like, with every single game and every pass, especially when he connects with Antonio Gates. The two of them are the most scoringest combo of quarterback and tight end in the history of the NFL. Rivers to Gates. That's the number 1 touchdown combo for quarterback to tight end. And they have that by a decisive margin. And they keep connecting 4 touchdowns as the year progresses. They said they've had some struggles at running back as Ryan Matthews went down, and then Danny Woodhead was lost for the season. Brown was struggling, but then here came Brandon Oliver, the undrafted free agent, and he's been just shining in that role. He's been a really good complement to their passing game. In the last couple weeks, they've been getting good production out of their receivers. Of course, it looks like this week they may be without Eddie Royal, and they also on defense look to be without Brandon Flowers, as both of those players got injured against Oakland. So we'll see how that ends up panning out and how things go on Sunday. But let's look inside the numbers for these two teams. And when it comes to passing offense and in yards per game, the Chiefs are 29th in passing yards per game, and the Chargers are 6th. So the Chargers definitely very proficient through the air. And then we look at their passing defense, though. The Chiefs are 7th when it comes to yards allowed through the air. The Chargers are 4th. So both of them have excellent pass defenses, but the edge clearly goes to San Diego in the passing attack, is they have one of the better passing attacks in the NFL, and the Chiefs have been struggling to put up offensive passing yards, although their defense is really good in the secondary. But the edge clearly goes to San Diego in the passing attack. Then we look at the running game of both teams, and the Chiefs are 4th in the NFL when it comes to running yards per game. The Chargers are just 25th. And when we look at running defense, though, the Chiefs are 23rd and the Chargers are 9th. So it's really close if you look at the matchups here. And you could go either way on this one. You could make the argument that the Chiefs have the advantage in the running game, but I actually would have to say I think the Chargers more have the advantage, especially when you consider how good they've been in the last couple weeks. But it's kind of a push. I mean, it's tough to say either way. Technically, I guess you could say the Chiefs have the advantage in the running game with their production on offense, although the Chargers are stopping the run pretty well, and the Chiefs cannot stop the run at all. So it's kind of a push. The numbers actually are in favor of the Chiefs. I'd actually probably say I'd give the advantage to the Chargers, though. But let's look at the scoring for both teams, and the Chiefs are 23rd in points scored per game. The Chargers are 4th. And when it comes to defense, the Chiefs are 5th in points allowed, and the Chargers are 2nd. So the advantage is clearly for San Diego when it comes to scoring. The Chiefs struggle to put points on the board. The Chargers have no shortage of scoring. And although the Chiefs are pretty good at holding teams out of the end zone, so are the Chargers. So overall, the numbers are in favor of San Diego. Of course, the Chargers do fall a little bit short when it comes to their running attack. In large part, that's due to their injuries. And you see the Chiefs, they've been running the ball pretty well. Knile Davis has 327 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. Jamal Charles, he's been banged up, but he still has 195 rushing yards. And he's also been catching the ball. He has only 43 receiving yards, but as I said, that's because he's been banged up, and so he hasn't really been playing so much. But they're getting the production one way or another. Is whoever ends up running the ball is picking up yards. And like I said, now Davis is doing a really good job, and with both of them healthy, they have a pretty strong running attack, and that's really the only chance I see the Chiefs have of winning is if they can just keep pounding the ball. They got to have a big game from Jamal Charles and from Knile Davis. And if they can kind of just keep it on the ground and keep the Chargers' offense off the field, then they have a chance. Alex Smith, though, he's, doing okay. He's nothing really too impressive. Only 1,049, passing yards in the season. He has 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Not a lot of interceptions, but at the same time, he does, have his picks. But that's what the Chargers are going to need. They're going to need to force a turnover. They're going to need to have a big production from Oliver. I think that the Chargers should win this game. It's at home. They've actually won the last 4 straight against the Chiefs. So they haven't lost to the Chiefs in a couple years. So I think they should be able to win this game at home. And the Chargers, if they had not lost that one game by 1 point, they would be undefeated and they would be the talk of the NFL. Of course, as it is, some people don't really put a lot of stock in the Chargers. They say, who have they beaten? They've only beaten, the Seahawks is the only impressive team. But I say that's not true. Any victory in the NFL is an impressive victory. This is a league filled with parity, and no game is a gimme. And really, we saw that last week as they had to struggle against Oakland. You can't just go on the field and win just off of your reputation or off of your statistics. You have to actually play the game on the field. And so if you can win a game regardless of the competition, it is competitive and it is impressive. And so you can't really discredit the Chargers for their schedule. And they are in one of the tougher divisions in football as it is anyway. So even though the Raiders, aren't really much competition, the Broncos are a very competitive team, and the Chiefs are more competitive than their record might bear out. They've had, the struggles with their injuries, but, they're not that bad, as people don't give them a lot of credit, but they're actually a tough team to beat. I still think the Chargers will beat them. I think Phillip Rivers is having a magical year, and I think that they should be able to win this one. It should be kind of close. It's what I expect. It'll probably be within, a touchdown or a possession. Maybe it ends up being within a field goal. But at the end, if it's a close game, Phillip Rivers will come up clutch, and he'll do what he has to in the fourth quarter to win this game. And so I see San Diego taking it and improving to 6-1. That's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Interested to hear your thoughts and opinions. And if you enjoyed the show, make sure to hit the like button. And if you want more content, make sure to hit the subscribe button as we bring you upon further reviews and recaps for each and every single game, each and every single week, all the way through the season and the playoffs, all the way through the Super Bowl. And we're also bringing you a weekly show, The Wedge, where we do quick picks, fantasy fortune, fantasy football picks, a weekly rewind of the week that was, and the Thursday night upon further review. We usually try to have that up somewhere between Tuesday and Thursday, usually Wednesday. Sometimes you might see a couple clips up there early, like our quick picks on Tuesday. And at the latest, we'll get the wedge up by Thursday. We always make sure to have that up before the Thursday night football game. So keep an eye out for that. We're also covering the baseball playoffs all the way through the World Series. Very excited for that. It's the Giants versus the Royals. So keep an eye out for that as well. And we do cover some college football too. Sometimes more than other weeks, but we are going to be covering more college football, especially as the college football playoffs approach. But thank you very much for listening. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and have a great weekend and enjoy all of the sports.